Hello guys and welcome to another video. Today I am going to be interviewing Matt Lowne. How are you doing?
I'm a black screen.
Yes, you are apparently.
Can you hear me at least?
Yes, I can hear you great.
Wait, let me try something. Oh, does that work?
Yeah, there you are. So wait, so before we start, actually hold on. Before I start, I have been watching you for over a year, by the way.
Thank you.
I've watched a lot of your videos. Why did you quit doing space news and switch to KSP instead?
Well, I never switched to KSP. So my channel started out
like yeah, but like not like switched, but just like instead, dude.
So I think it was a couple of things really. First of all, I'm just one person. I'm not a team, so I only have so many hours dedicated, and it was getting to the point where space news was taking up a huge amount of my time, and it wasn't really getting any views that would have made sense. Basically, the other big thing is that it's not my full-time job. YouTube. I have a real job that I go to, so I have very little hours in the day anyway to work on YouTube. So it's getting to the point where I guess it didn't really make a lot of sense to carry on doing space news when it wasn't really what the audience was watching. And actually, that's the end of that story. That was the rationale behind it. I mean, the final Space This Week episode, I kind of went through it a bit more. I always feel like not uncomfortable, but I always feel very like I have to be very careful about. Oh, it's all about the money and all that, because it isn't. But it's more about just allocation of time, and I'd rather put in the hours and content that people kind of want to watch versus I guess what they don't want to watch. Not that nobody watched it, but compared to the views of my KSP videos, it wasn't really making a lot of sense when it came to how much time they were taking to create, really.
Yeah, but like for me in general, I just post like whatever, like to see like what does well. Like so far, like my Marcus House interview has done the best. I got 143 views in a month, and actually like I can make like pretty good thumbnails in this one app, but I mean if you want a thumbnail editor, I got you.
Yes, I think I'm okay, thank you, but thank you for the offer.
I mean, if you look at this Marcus House interview thumbnail, then
so how many views have I got to get to beat Marcus House? Go on.
I don't know. I mean, at least 144 so far. And then you'll be.
Go on then, everyone like and subscribe. Share this with your friends. We've got 140 views to beat.
Yes, I'm putting it on screen. There you go.
There you go.
Number two, what got you into KSP in the first place? Like I've watched like one of your earlier videos. Like I think it was your first one, but like
my first KSP video was that submarine. Well, going into the game, I saw a video, and I did a video. I think it was my
I did hear about that on like one of your videos. It was from some other
I think it was my 10-year. It was around. No, it was my 1000th video. I think it was. And I basically talked about how I saw a video by a channel called Node Gaming, and they played KSP. I thought it looked fun, but I'm like, oh, I don't know if I really want to pay for this, because at the time I was a student, I didn't really have any money. But then one of my housemates was like, oh, I'm going to get this game in the Steam summer sale. It's called Kerbal Space Program. And I was like, oh, I've heard of that. I might get it and play it with you. So we both bought it. He sort of dropped it after maybe like a few hours. I obviously didn't. I remember setting off. I was on my own in the house. I think my term times were, or as I should say, my school vacation days were shorter than my housemates. So I was at the university house, college house, a lot longer than they were. So I remember I had the evening to myself. I had the house on my own. Right, I sat down. Right, gonna fire up this game I've just bought. I'm gonna make it my mission to get to orbit. I think I started playing at about, I don't know, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening. And then by the time I finally made it to orbit, there was sun coming through the curtains. But it was worth it. So I was definitely hooked from day one playing Kerbal Space Program. And then when it came to start, making videos, which I think you might have been inferring to as kind of the follow-up for that.
Both, yeah.
But yeah, so basically this is like a really sad story. But basically, on the Kerbal Space Program subreddit at the time, it's still kind of a thing, but not really anymore. I noticed that there were a lot of users, I don't know if you use Reddit, but next to your username, some of the users had things like Master Kerbal Naught and things like that next to their name, or Expert Kerbal Naught, I think, with the two. I can't quite remember. But I was like, I want that next to my username. How do I get that? And so I found out that you have to do these things called the weekly challenges. So every week, one of the moderators would say, this is the challenge you got to do. And if you fulfill the requirements of this challenge, you get a little flare next to your name, like Master Kerbal Naught or Expert Kerbal Naught or something. And then if you fill out the expert mode requirements, you get another thing next to your name. So I made it my mission to kind of do that. So in order to kind of fulfill the objectives of the challenge and earn that little flare next to your name, you had to prove you did the mission. So when I did it, it was build a submarine, fly it to Eve or Lace and land it and all that. And one of the requirements was we have to basically take screenshots of very specific parts of your mission to essentially prove that you did it and didn't just use cheats. But I couldn't really be bothered to do it, and I was a bit worried that like I might miss a critical image and I could be bothered to go back and reload it. But I really liked making videos, like editing things, so I might just make a funny video to music and then have that, and it will definitely have all the key beats required because it's a video. And so I submitted that, and it got quite a lot of views. I think it got about 30,000 views, which for a channel that didn't upload anything, I was like, oh, that's quite cool. So then I kind of said, I might do this again for the next challenge and the next challenge. And then now it's been 11 years and it's I haven't stopped. So that's kind of how I got my start on YouTube, really.
Mm-hmm. Like my most popular short like, so far. Have you ever been to a launch like it's like in person? Like I went to the Artemis 2, and I almost went to go see Starship, but yeah.
Well, Artemis 2 is what you're known for, isn't it? Really? No, I haven't. I'm very. I would very much like to. I'm kind of. Well, I want to go to Florida again at some point. The last time I was in Florida, the space shuttle was on the launch pad, and we missed it by like a day because it got scrubbed. And we're like, oh, we haven't really got time to risk going out again tomorrow night. And then it actually launched, and this was like this would have been one of the last space shuttle launches ever. So that's one of my big life regrets, missing the space shuttle launch. But obviously now Falcon 9 launches so often that if you go to Florida, you're basically guaranteed to see one launch, aren't you? So next time I'm in Florida, that's definitely going to be it. And then I'm thinking I would like to go and visit Starbase, but I kind of want to wait until Starship is like Falcon 9, where it's launching so often you can go and be guaranteed to see it launch, basically. So, yeah, and obviously RFA are about to start launching in the UK, in the Shetland Islands. So when that's all up and running, I'm going to make the journey up to Scotland and watch that, definitely. I'm kind of in touch with a few of the people from RFA. They're really cool people. So, yeah, never seen a launch yet, but it is definitely something I will do at some point.
Mm-hmm. One is, what did you name your first rocket in KSP? Or, like, did you name it? If not, then just say, like, the first rocket that you did name.
It was probably called Untitled Spacecraft. Yes. I genuinely can't answer that question. It was too long ago. I don't remember. I used to call my I used to make like series of rockets. Like now when I play the game, I'm playing the game to make videos. So I'm kind of designing the rocket. I'm designing a new rocket for every mission because it's for a video. But when I played the game for fun, that's hard to say that without sounding bad. When I just played it for my own entertainment, I would try and make classes of rockets. So like obviously real life you got Atlas, Delta, SLS, things like that. So I'd make like I had the thing called the Raven class, which was specifically designed for moon missions. There was the Dune class, which was specific for Dune missions. I remember those. That's all I really recall though. It was a very long time ago.
I have my Virgo series on Juno New Origins. I'm still working on it. I do have like a couple notebooks that I always like draw stuff in. At recess, because I'm not really that sportsy, so I mean, like, I don't like to just like I just like to just like sit on the bench or somewhere and like just like draw rockets, and perfect my series and stuff. Because Virgo is actually my birth constellation. So. I mean,
Oh, nice.
we'll name it. And it's a methalox fueled rocket, kind of like the SpaceX Falcon 9. I'm about to do the first launch of the Virgo 1, which is a 3-stage to orbit. Which is a 3-stage to orbit. It has like a solid fueled like first stage booster, and then 2 Carolox fueled upper stages to get it to orbit. So it's
Nice.
pretty sick. Let me X that out. There we go. I will after mom. When do you think an estimation that we will first step foot, that the humans will first step foot on Mars as an estimation? When do you think that will happen?
A long time, I think. I don't think we're going to land on the moon until probably not until after 2030, definitely. And then Mars, I feel like it's going to be at least 10 years after that. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I would
at least 2050.
maybe.
I'm thinking 2045 or 2050.
I was literally about to say maybe 2045. It really depends on Starship and New Glenn. New Glenn's obviously had that bit of a hiccup, and Starship is a long way off, I think, from being operational. And they've still got to figure out things like refueling. So I think, the key rockets that we need it to work, they're a long way off from being able to do what we need them to be able to do, basically.
If a couple of people thought like your beginner's guide to KSP video was just a bit too long, like not me, but a couple of people, what are the 5 basic tips? What are the five most helpful tips for beginners in KSP? Just 5,
I don't know if there's any specific tips, really. Just play the game and play the in-game tutorials. To be honest, it's been so many years, so I can't say I'm speaking from experience here. When I see comments about people who are struggling, a lot of the advice is generally play the tutorials, and they are quite helpful. And obviously watching YouTube videos, not necessarily mine, but anyone's for any kind of specific tutorials. But really, it's like any game, you're not going to be good at it unless you just play the game and get used to it, really. So yeah, no specific tips in general that I would be able to boil down to a short list of 5 at least. But yeah, that would be kind of my advice, really.
Wait, so speaking of